do this to me! No! No, I didn't do that! I didn't do any of that! I didn't do it!
I admit it. I really couldn't escape it. I just couldn't. As much as I hate to admit it. If you don't know what exactly I'm talking about, though, there's something I've been thinking about for a while. Something that's rubbed me the wrong way in the worst possible fashion. And it all has to do with an incident involving some individuals who went from a circus act to an irredeemable mistake. And for the sake of context, I once used to play Roblox on stream, but for reasons I'll be getting into in this video, I ended up abandoning that endeavor and never went back since. So why exactly am I talking about this now after how long it's been? To put it in short, there was just so much about this entire scenario that pissed me off to no end. And I kid you not when I say that the more I put thought into this, the more I realized that there was more than the stream sniping that left me fuming. And that's why I'm here today. To release some grievances I've held onto for far too long and to express my feelings about the whole situation. Literally, I feel my demons just decided I can't hold on to this feeling any longer. Before I get into this rant, I do want to make a few things perfectly clear. First, I don't want anybody to ask or speak to me about anything I discuss here. The moment this video is uploaded, I will have long vowed to throw this discussion out the window and never think of it ever again. Second, I do not want anybody watching this to go attack the individuals or organizations mentioned in this video. The whole purpose of this is for me to vent my frustrations about what happened, how it happened, and why it happened. And really now, guys, all of us should be so much better than that. Even despite my frustrations, I don't feel these people deserve that shit one bit. Lastly, everything that I say in this video is entirely honest. No ifs, no ands, no buts. So, those are my ground rules for this video. And with that, let's get into this rant. So a long while back, like I said before, I was streaming Roblox and I played a game called War Tycoon when I stumbled upon some group of friends that somehow found me on Twitch. This situation stemmed from me calling one of these dumb fucks a clown, and all kinds of hijinks ensued from there. Which I'll admit, none of this is bad on its own, but there came something that triggered them. I won't say what it was, but I will admit that in hindsight, I was totally impulsive to have said that, and I don't normally say it to anybody, even when I get immeasurably pissed off in online gaming. Moreover, however, the only real reason I even said it was because of Toast accidentally blowing himself up with a grenade. And really, that was literally the only reason. So while getting worked up about being called a clown was already a bad sign, he and his friends got their dick in a twist over me saying you know what, and even went as far as to do a reaction to the whole fiasco.
But wait! There's more!
They raided my stream again, about a month after, and not only publicly mentioned their qualms with me, they actually demanded a public apology from me, live on stream, and wouldn't leave me alone until I did. So if you haven't already picked up on it by now, these people were literally blowing everything I said completely out of proportion. And sure, I did say that the stream sniping wasn't funny, but I'd honestly go as far as to say that alone was so much better than everything that came after. Though if I have to be honest, the only reason I even said it wasn't funny was because they were doing it over an issue they had with me, and they took everything I said too seriously. If anything, this shit just ruined their stream sniping, along with them asking me to apologize when they could have just moved on like I already had. Or hell, they could have even tried to talk to me about this off stream, which is what they should have done from the beginning. Like, literally, to bring up your qualms with me literally a month after how long it was since you never really said anything, this is the reason I called these guys pathetic. Just bringing something up when they could have moved on from it. But even better than that, I actually did try to tell them that I never meant anything out of what I said, because really, I never truly meant any harm out of what I said. Really, I didn't. And yet, these guys would not accept that no matter how many times I told them. And this was when I demanded an apology from them. Because literally now, the fact that they had the need to take something like that so seriously to a point where they were essentially trying to cancel me, these people honestly don't belong on the internet. And neither do they deserve to fucking stream snipe me. So without having to go on about this shit, these fucking degenerates, Toast, Barry Kai, and Draco, were absolutely shitty for handling this the way they did. Absolute pieces of shit. And why they hadn't said anything about it until later is beyond inexcusable, since by the time they decided to do so, I had already moved on from this and never wanted anything more to do with them. Like, it would be one thing if they had a problem with me over something, but for them to use their free time to make me pay for something from well over a month ago, something that I even forgot about, I gotta tell you, man, these people clearly don't know how to have a life. Like, they can have a problem with it all they want. They can have a problem with anything that I say to them, and they can even hate me for it too. But for them to think that they're the internet police, the types of people who think that they can decide when this is all over, and not do anything better with their time, or even understand that it's not what it seems, at that point, you've basically become an SJW. Like, I'm sorry that you suck at having a life and have to act like inhumane garbage just because of something triggering you. Like, never mind I've been playing along regardless whether or not I said so. Never mind you've been doing this as part of a joke. Like, you can upset me and anybody for no good reason, yet me upsetting you is automatically a crime against humanity? Just to prove my point about this shit. I've met more toxic players in PvP games who are actually more fucking normal than these bags of hyena diarrhea. At least most of the toxic players I've encountered were a one and done deal, and that's how I'd rather have it. These guys, however, this is the equivalent of going to a stand-up by Dave Chappelle because you like his jokes and humor. But sometime when you actually get to meet him in person, you change your mind and decide he's the worst thing in the world. That's exactly what this feels like. I honestly find it even funnier that they had an issue with this, because my reaction was the reason they stuck around for so long. Yeah, they actually found it that funny, seeing me freak the hell out over their shenanigans. So by that logic, I was literally giving them exactly what they wanted. Even I will admit, I don't understand why I reacted the way I did. I really don't. But if they really had to demand an apology over the whole you-know-what and make a bigger fuss out of it than it needed to be, I'd really love to know where these people were when Quantum TV said the same shit a while back. Maybe they should go off and harass him for an apology as well.
At the end of the day, go kill yourself, man. At the end of the day, go kill yourself, man.
At the end of the day, go kill yourself, man.
Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about something that I also cannot stop thinking about either. And this is due to how unspeakably stupid this fucking was. Straight from the words of Draco himself, you should still apologize even if it's taken out of context. Like, I literally can't believe that I actually had to spew out your verbal diarrhea. Like, what the actual fuck is even wrong with you? Like, congratulations, dude. You've proven how unaware you are just how harmful and toxic that mentality is. Saying that shit is like saying guilty until proven innocent, which need I remind you has cost people their lives in one way or another. I still remember him saying that on the day his pals had their shit fit, and it pisses me off to this very day because it's a harmful and toxic mentality that shouldn't be normalized. People who actually roll with the guilty until proven innocent mentality, they don't belong in fucking prison. Like, if you really wanted an example on how this has actually hurt somebody, you may have heard about KickVic and how they ended up destroying voice actor Vic Mignogna's career with false allegations, pretty much getting him fired from voice acting altogether. And sadly, he hasn't really made much appearances since this bullshit, so it's safe to say he'll likely never recover from this. I did happen to find this post on DeviantArt of all places if you'd like to read about it and get the full picture, because honestly, this person describes everything better than I could, and literally, KickVic still should not be forgiven even after how long it's been. It's like people have said before, be careful what you say on the internet. Even one small thing can leave a lasting impact. But now is where we start scraping the shit-crusted toilet bowl. This is the very thing that boils my blood just thinking about it today. And it's so fucking unfathomable that I actually want to puke my insides out. It's time to talk about the apology. But first of all, to backtrack a bit, it was because of what I said was why I got dragged back into their circus act long after the whole thing was done and over with. And a friendly reminder that this was the reason, my little blunder, this was why they came back and bullied me into submission. And from that point onward, things did get heated between our when we had our chat, quote unquote, and they even explained their ordeal with me, yet again, refusing to take my word and saying, I didn't mean anything out of what I said. I didn't mean anything out of what I said. So short and to the point here, they were not willing to budge and ultimately decided, nope, you're not allowed to be innocent until you apologize. Like, you know something, what's even sadder than this is that I actually was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, even despite my frustrations. I really was. And I actually was debating on admitting to them that I felt guilty for the actions I took. That was, however, until Kai decided to demand that I kiss their ass and cave in. And not only was he being a complete piece of shit and still demanding an apology, he literally threatened to stalk me over the shit I said. Like, Kai, oh my god, you literally taking this so fucking far. You getting stuck up your ass over this shit makes you an even shittier excuse of existence than Quantum TV and Xander Hall combined. And the same goes for your butt buddies Toast and Draco. Even they proven to be piece of shit just like you. Like, you seriously mean to tell me that you've been pissing me off all just for shits and giggles, yet I'm not allowed to tell you that I didn't mean anything I say? You seriously think that's how that fucking works? Like, this is exactly what I mean when I said these guys were blowing this out of proportion. Like, are you starting to see exactly why them asking me to apologize has pissed me off? In case I haven't made it clear enough, just how fucktarded these asshats are.
Christ!
But do you want to know what the worst part is? I practically apologized twice. Yes, you heard me right. Once when they brought me into their little meeting where I immediately said sorry, and again after I asked what's the holdup. Like, these morons couldn't be any more dysfunctional, loathsome, putrid, pathetic, undesirable, sick-minded, disgusting, even if they tried.
Fucking hell! That's not shit! You're shit! Your very existence is shit! You're a useless sack of worthless fucking shit!
They've literally proven just how fucked beyond saving they are, as if them wanting an apology wasn't already shitty as it is. And I really wish this is where it all ended. But the rabbit hole just keeps getting deeper. And here is where I actually retracted my apology altogether and decided never again since. So of all the things that broke me, absolutely nothing came close to destroying my brain cells than the live stream on Real Hanchi's Twitch channel. And let me just say that I did indeed watch the stream itself. You know, the whole 40-minute fiasco these guys got a chuckle out of. I will admit, I too did get a chuckle out of this, and I certainly find it funny. Or rather, it was funny until they got into the rant. Roll the tape.
Because, first of all, I wasn't bullying because he said all those things in the first place, which caused all this to happen anyway. So all of this was deserved.
Would you say that I deserve to get hacked by some lowlife on the internet because I posted anti-Biden memes, or get mugged by criminals because I killed one of their buddies in an act of self-defense? Would you say that I deserve to have nukes dropped on my house because I'm an anti-communist? Or that I get jailed for simply supporting police when they're doing their job lawfully? I'd really love to know your answer for all of these questions. This is some high-class diarrhea gargling brain rot you've got going on, but it gets even worse.
Like, you know what? You're not good at video games. You're probably going to start fuming. Like, what did you just say to me? You should go kill yourself.
No! You dense, irritating
I really had to bring this up again, don't I? It was literally because your friend committed suicide by accident in a game. Even your friend said it themselves. It's a game. And you don't need to take everything that fucking seriously. Like, how much of an irrational, insufferable, overdramatic, cocksucking pussy can you possibly fucking be? Do you really hate people telling you to you-know-what so much that you need to stoop so low and treat them like a fucking terrorist? You honest to God couldn't be fucked to just let this all go and put it to rest? Newsflash, I'm the one who wanted to be left alone. And if you didn't want to say anything about your problems with me, then I'd rather you not even say anything because you've convinced me that there isn't an issue. Like, it's real funny that you say you don't want me getting bullied off the platform, yet you say shit like this.
He doesn't deserve to be allowed on a streaming platform talking to people like that. I'm going to be honest.
So, why didn't you try to get me banned? Was it because you were giving me the benefit of the doubt? Or was it because you didn't want to stoop any lower than you already have? I feel like a broken record at this point by saying this, but this shit completely soured your whole circus act, dude. A circus act that would have otherwise been something harmless and comedic, and nothing more. And no, I don't care at this point that we all made up after this. I don't care at this point how long it's been since it happened, and it's all because of the live stream. I now have legitimate grounds to not only back out of my agreement, but retract my apology altogether, because now it's like, what was even the point? Basically, my apology amounted to
nothing! Absolutely nothing!
Meaning all they did was waste my fucking time.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
So to the individuals, Toast, Barry Kai, Draco, and even Ryohanshi, why the fuck are you even on the internet if you're this easily offended by something? It's because of all of you wanting an apology from me is why I still possess some resentment for you. And the fact that I couldn't erase this shit from my memory more than speaks for how fucking shitty you are as human beings. So in other words, you honestly fucking suck at life, and that's how I'm putting it. And as much as I really hate to say this as well, all of this makes me well beyond glad that you aren't doing much stream sniping these days. Because this kind of behavior of yours made you all complete piece of shit. And the way that you handled my mishap further accentuates that fact. The bottom line is this. If you're the type of person who is so sensitive that you have to become a shitty, toxic person yourself, if you aren't able to understand that I don't mean anything I say regardless of implications, if you are not able to do the right thing and move on from this like you should have, or even speak to me off stream like you should have done before, if you're bringing up your problems to me months or even years after getting triggered, if you're the kind of person that wants a public apology from me, if you can't be fucked to just leave me alone like I wanted, and if you are not able to keep your stream sniping a joke and nothing more, you are a fucking failure at life. And moreover, you literally represent everything wrong with internet culture, and you all need to seek help. Most important of all, however, you literally suck at stream sniping for all these reasons. And I'm not going to hear anybody tell me otherwise. You all demanding an apology from me, that was hands down your biggest fucking mistake yet. Not to mention, what faith I could have had in you is permanently unsustainable. So you can tell me that you never meant to drive me to quit streaming Roblox, or that you never really wanted to cancel me or ruin my life over this shit to begin with. Because your demand for an apology was enough to convince me that, to this very day, that you truly are SJWs. And honestly, y'all either need to go fuck yourselves and reevaluate your life decisions, or do better at getting a fucking life. Yeah, I admit it. I'm pissed off. And normally, I'm a man who burns bridges after a while, since I've become aware that holding on to that feeling can hurt after a while. For this, however, this shit was beyond repulsive, and has pissed me off to no end thinking about it. Like, seriously. All of this shit, when they only wanted to stream snipe me, and they somehow found a way to fuck it all up!
Fuck you, man! You suck! You could've just walked away! But you didn't, you prick! So fuck you, you dumbass!
I'm gonna be honest with you all. I absolutely hate how negative I am about all of this. Because normally, I'm not a negative person, and neither do I want to be. It's just, I've been thinking about this for so long, and yet no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't erase it from my memory. Everything about this just pissed me off the more I thought about it, and this is the reason I came off as harsh as I was all throughout this rant. Of course, part of my reaction stems from a group of assholes who are upset about what I said on social media. Or rather, an image that I actually posted that literally left them pissed off more than anything else. And they all labeled me as a white supremacist for it. They called me a racist for it. They even made fun of me by saying, imagine being upset about having white privilege. Absolutely none of which is actually true, by the way. But if I really had to sit here and discuss the context behind that shit, trust me, we'd be here forever. I've picked enough bones I've had all throughout this video. I've even alluded to the idea about internet culture being infested with all these fucking cancel pigs, or woke losers, whatever the hell people call them these days. And if Facebook was an indication of anything, toxicity is king, and always will be. It's the sole reason I don't really use it all that often alongside many others. Because social media as a whole has become a horrible influence for people to just sit back and get away with spewing harmful rhetoric. But back on track though, I really hate how this shit went down. And I really still feel this shit ended on a really sour note. I wish this could have gone better. I really do. Because to tell you the truth, believe it or not, I could have tolerated this. Yeah, like I wouldn't have minded being stream sniped, even despite my reaction, if it weren't for everything that transpired from their invasion and their stepdad's verbal diarrhea. I'll even say here that I did start feeling a little guilty for how I went about this. Getting in a spat with them, banning them, all that shit. I don't even need to tell you this, folks, but I was pretty unethical and irrational myself, just doing that shit. I know, weird for me to say, given how much I've ripped these guys for everything. I'm just now ruling out that I ain't perfect either, okay? The difference is, though, I've accepted this, even when I don't admit it. Of course, me saying this doesn't change that I still condemn this roadkill posse to hell for their actions, because I speak no hyperbole in saying, and I don't know how much simpler I can make this, but I truly never meant any wrongdoings over what I said during the whole fiasco. I didn't really mean to hurt anybody, and moreover, I didn't actually mean to do anything wrong in any fashion. It just wasn't meant to be, you know what I mean? Like, I can be impulsive, for better or for worse. And that's pretty much what formulates me as a person. So yeah, I admit it. I said something, I forgot about it, and I got pissed off when they brought it back. Most importantly, however, I admit to taking everything far too harshly, and that right there is easily my biggest regret. Now, why exactly am I saying this is because, in all honesty, I didn't feel entirely sincere with my apology like I let on. Like, I've poked this idea before, but it only felt like I was only apologizing just because of them ridiculing me. Like, I only really did it just to make myself look innocent and give them what they want. Not to mention the aforementioned livestream on Real Hanchi's Twitch, nullifying my agreement and making my apology a complete waste. But I think you all get the point, so I'll stop wasting your time with this shit and just say that at the end of the day, no matter how anybody looks at this whole feud pretty much boils down to being nothing more than a misunderstanding. Like, this whole fiasco was overblown and was made into a shit show in the worst way imaginable. So, could I have handled this differently and done better? Absolutely. Do I still feel as though they took things too far with my mistake? Also, yes. With that in mind, however, if they still have it in them to forgive me even after everything I've said, I suppose I can be the better man myself and let this all go and never bring this back up ever again. Before I finish this rant, however, because I want to end this off on a positive note, I have been ripping these guys up for long enough as it is, but that's not to say that some good didn't come out of this. Yeah, funny of me to say, knowing what I've said, but it's all in the sense that their actions were what made them repulsive and reprehensible. Yet again, regarding my you-know-what. Of course, I mentioned the live reaction, which I admit was rather hilarious in the sense that I did get to witness how much of a complete jackass I was, and to get a laugh out of me almost makes up for everything that went down. Unfortunately, though, that live stream is no longer on his Twitch channel as it stands. Either he unlisted it from his Twitch, or he probably ended up deleting it. But either way, you're probably not going to be seeing that live stream ever. Especially since I ended up deleting it from my YouTube. After they had their shit fit, that is. Another thing I actually do want to mention, since I know they're going to bring this up too, these guys have all done this to other streamers and even befriended them. Which, I'll admit, is also very nice to hear. I don't truly know who these people were and how they felt about all this, but in my case, the fact that it was all after some shitty circumstances is what made me feel bitter about this. But without having to continue ragging on these people, yeah, I'll say it. I hated myself for what I've done, and I hate myself even more for my outlook on this. So, to mention Toast, Barry Kai, and even Real Hanchi, this is my way of saying I'm sorry. I've succumbed to the fact that I did end up ruining your fun, and I made you all the bad guys for no reason, wherein I too failed to realize that you never truly had any malicious intent. Well, at least not initially anyway, but that's not here nor there. You all still may be total fucknuts and a half, but perhaps in some way, we can be friends and look back on all of this, call it a funny memory. Like I said before though, I never intended to start shit with you guys. I only wanted to make this video just to release all the burning rage that I've held on to. On the bright side, however, if you still happen to have that live stream on your hard drive, not that you really even needed it to begin with, I'd love to do a reaction to it if your stepdad ever decides to upload it back on his channel. Also, Pixels, if you've caught wind of this video and watched it till the end, I also want to say to you as well that I'm sorry. Since I feel like I hated you for no reason, not that I know I'll change your mind saying that, but I too have proven that I'm a man that can change. So, no hard feelings, bud. No hard feelings. So yeah, there you have it, folks. That's my vent. Man, that actually took a lot out of me, but I actually feel so much better now. All that weight I've had on my chest has finally been lifted and dissolved. And it's just like I said before, to bring this point back yet again, I'm only being honest. And honestly, that's the kind of person I'd rather be, no matter how anybody takes it. Oh, and one last thing before I actually do end this rant. Believe it or not, these guys are actually pretty chill. Much to my shock, of course. And they never even spoke about all of this, even despite how long it's been on their Discord servers, so that's something that also shocked me. I don't know why this was. It's just something I actually wanted to point out. I guess you could say that's the LC24 conspiracy debunked. Yeah, really nice name, by the way. Really was a conspiracy. Well, good night, folks.